Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, on behalf of the Polish Zoo Association in Great Britain, I would like to warmly welcome everyone gathered for today's special ceremony commemorating the 85th anniversary of the Katyn Massacre and Remembrance Week. I greet with the utmost respect the Lord Mayor of Hillingdon, also veteran of the fight for freedom and independence, soldier of General Maczek, 102-year-old Mr. Eugeniusz Niedzielski and his wife, Mr. Lord Riedl and his partner, who are representative of the Katyn Families in Gdańsk branch. We also welcome all the representatives of Polish Zoo and also our invited guests from the Polish community, who are families and relatives of the victims of Katyn. We thank you for your presence and for allowing us to jointly pay tribute to the Polish officers murdered by the Soviet authorities in Katyn in 1940. It is on British soil, in the silence of the cemetery, that we stand together to bear witness to memory, truth and gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment we will lay flowers and wreaths in honor of those murdered. Before we begin, however, I would like to read a letter from Sebastian Karwat, the director of the Katyn Museum in Warsaw, who unfortunately couldn't come here in person. And he addressed this letter especially to us. He sends his words of support, remembrance and unity. And the letter says, "Ladies and gentlemen, guests gathered at the Katyn Monument in London. By decision of Sejm of the Republic of Poland, 2025 has been designated the year of the Polish heroes from Katyn, Kharkiv, Miednoje, Bykownia and other places. We commemorate the tragic events of 85 years ago, when, based on the political decision of the biggest authorities of the USSR of March the 5th, 1940, a mass murder was committed against defenseless prisoners of war and prisoners who, regardless of the religion, education, wealth and origin, were, according to the Soviets, hardened and incorrigible enemies of Soviet power, people who should be ruthlessly exterminated. Our thoughts turn to the victims from the Katyn forests, the torture chambers of Cllr, Kharkiv, Kiev, Minsk and other unknown places. We remember their loved ones deported on April 13, 1940, to the steppes of Kazakhstan and the forests of Siberia. People who, in an inhumane land, experienced the hardships of exhausting labor for a scrap of bread. We do not forget the parents, wives and children of the victims of the Katyn Massacre, who for many years waited for the loved ones and awaited any information that often never arrived. But we also remember those who, in the dark years of communist deception, maintained the memory of these events and awakened the conscience of Poles and world's public opinion. In Great Britain, this task was fulfilled by representatives of the Polish diaspora and Polish immigrant authorities, as well as uncompromising British citizens for whom the truth about the events of 1940 was more important than personal interests. Therefore, it is worth mentioning our British friends here, members of the Fund for the Construction of the Katyn Monument in London, in particular Lord Barnaby, Lord St. Oswald and Louis Fitzgibbon. It is thanks to their determination, among other things, that the memory of the victims of the Katyn Massacre found its visible site in the Katyn Monument, unveiled in 1976. At the Katyn Museum, we remember this beautiful attitude. We remind visitors of the initiators and creators of the Katyn Monument. We tell visitors about this in our exhibition, where we present memorabilia related to the monument and those involved in its construction. This was made possible thanks to the kindness of Mr. Marek and Mr. Jacek Gabrielczyk, who donated their families' collections to the museum. I'm very grateful for you for your many years of cultivating the memory of those murdered. Commemorating the crime committed 85 years ago against the citizens of the Republic of Poland is not only our duty, but also a task for future generations, because we must loudly and clearly articulate the timeless motto, memory cannot be destroyed. With the deepest respect, Sebastian Karwat, head of the Katyn Museum in Warsaw.